What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man Marvin Francois, and he's the diligent, meticulous, engaged, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chisel the Donner, and you're tuned into the Whole Mind Nuggets Podcast, episode 28, where we talk 50% sports, 50% real shit, 100% of the time, and if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets. That's my dick! We did, boys! Did you see my 20-point comeback this past Sunday against the Falcons? They like to blow leads a lot, but how about that tech attack? They can't stop the tech attack. Oh, but tech attack. They can't stop the tech attack. We came back. That's what we like to see, baby. That's what we like to see. We did, boys! We got our first W on the year, and then we're going to win the rest of our game. What we going to do? 15-1. And then what's going to happen in the postseason? We're going to host a divisional game, right? What we going to go? 2-0 in the playoff. We're going to win the divisional, then we're going to win the conference championship. We're going to meet up at the Super Bowl. We're going to play against Chiefs. We're going to play against Ravens. We're going to play against Steelers. It don't matter who we play. We're going to beat them in the Super Bowl. And then what we going to get? We're going to get 6 rings. We done, boy! We going to the Super Bowl. Nobody can stop us now. That's how you like to start it, isn't it?
All of that. I you know what? First of all, I if you're gonna do a proper imitation read, you had to put some more bass in your voice. Let's start there. I don't know if this is. Are we doing? No, we're gonna go from there.
Oh yeah.
That's how we're gonna start. That
absolutely.
Stuff? How y'all doing? All right, good evening. Now, why I don't sound nothing like that. My voice has a lot more bass in it. You have to put
I've
more.
never heard bass.
You got to put more bass in my voice. If you imitate people, what about if I imitate you? Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a quite gratuitous. There, all these big ass words that you be using that nobody know what it mean. Well, this is a very controversial, McQuillialistic opportunity for exactly.
See. If you're gonna use,
big words, right?
Sesquipedalian words, right?
What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know what that means.
That's what I'm talking about. Very long, it's what it means. Yeah. So if you're gonna use big ass words, at least use them correctly.
I did. That was that's a real sesquipedalian. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode number 28 of the Whole My Niggas Podcast. I am your host, Marvin Francois, with the Chisel.
And once again, I'm the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chisel the Donner.
And welcome to episode number 28 of the Hug My Nuggets Podcast. Here we talk 50% sports,
50% real shit, 100% of the time.
And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick!
Did I say hug my nuggets?
You said hug your nuggets.
I said hug my nuggets. It don't matter. He fucked me up. Y'all see what he did? He fucked me up. It don't matter.
I'm not too sure. Well, somebody hugging nuggets. Anybody in the Travis Scott meal?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume. I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Somebody gotta go down to Texas. Go find out what's up in that meal.
Hope y'all had a great weekend. I know that we did. We have a lot to cover and to touch on today. NBA playoffs is still rocking and rolling. We are in the conference finals. NFL football is still alive and well. Week 2 is finishing. We're heading into week 3. But first and foremost, let's just get
back up a bit.
Yeah, wait a minute, brother.
Yeah. So you can get more in focus. All right, continue.
What it is you my aura is contagious.
You don't.
It's
you don't
effective.
Got
you understand?
You don't got
it's
no
sensational. Aura. So you want. Now I feel you. I got what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna focus first and foremost on the Heat versus Celtics.
Oh, absolutely.
Playoff series right now. The Heat are up 2-1.
2-1. The actually game 4. Well, by the time this airs, will be tomorrow. So it will be tonight.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing game 4.
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait.
The Boston Celtics were able to come out with the W in game 3 after coming into it. The Miami Heat were up 2-0, but they were able to get the first win of the series. Now they're heading into game 4. Well, by the time y'all see the series tonight. My question to you is very, very simple. Given your Miami Heat lost game 3, how concerned are you for the Heat going into game 4?
Not at all. Okay. My only issue that I had was that Miami was playing very reactionary. Right? Because you could tell they're a second half team. And they came back. They started, if I'm not mistaken, Boston led by as much as 20. Yeah, I know it was 18 for sure, but I think it extended up until 20. So, but my only problem was when Miami came out, they were extremely conservative. And in the second half, they decided to turn it on. There's no reason to wait anymore. Gordon Hayward is back. They put him back into the lineup. And I was concerned how this would work out for the Celtics, as we talked about before. How do you now, facing a 2-game deficit, bring in somebody and take minutes away? But remember, as I stated, Jaylen Brown, when he scores over 25 points, I thought they were undefeated. They only lost one game. But still, losing only one game with one man scoring over 25, this guy you got to watch out for. What happened? Jaylen Brown scored over 25 points. So if I'm Miami, I've got to make sure I can't allow the others to beat me. And on top of that, just fun fact, this has nothing to do with actually, how I should feel about Miami Heat. Gordon Hayward's wife is going to give birth to another child. And he said,
it's going to be another girl.
Fuck them kids. I'm not going to leave the bubble because if I dip, there's a possibility my team
will lose.
Right. So a piece of me is like, damn, son, go see your kids. But at the same time,
I got to respect it.
Fuck them kids, man.
Nah, not fuck them kids. This is the birth of your child. You want to be there. This is more important.
They got FaceTime.
No, it's not no FaceTime. This is...
What's that?
This is the most important moment of your child's life. You're going to be there. You understand, when they're born. You might not even win the series. What if hold on, you'll be salty as hell if the series goes 7 games, y'all lose, but you weren't there to see your kid. Now you got to explain to them that you missed their birth for a series you didn't even win.
Well, not necessarily.
No, yes,
I mean, they
could.
Don't they got like what do they call them? Holograms.
They got
holograms.
Sonogram.
No. Sonogram is like the sonograms of like the X-ray of the kid.
Right.
Hologram, like they got hologram. Like
so you want him
like
to
Tupac's
be there.
Still on tour.
Right.
So if that's the case,
what the fuck is going
why
on?
don't they have holograms?
I think
like if the pops can't be there or the mom.
I think physical presence.
Well, then again, how would that work? If the mom is a hologram,
then
in
who's
labor,
put? Yeah, that don't even make sense.
That
brother.
don't.
But isn't she going into labor this week? Is that what?
I think it could be today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, it's at one point this week.
Go see the birth of your child. But nonetheless, am I concerned for the Miami Heat? I'm not necessarily. I took some time to watch the game, and I think where the Celtics really killed the Heat was in transition. A lot of they built up their momentum a lot of times, running on a fast break, getting quick defensive rebounds, and from there, that's where they were able to build their momentum up. And Miami seemed very lazy, and lethargic in this game. They didn't really come out with the same aggressive, punch you in the mouth kind of style of basketball that they played, and it hurt them in the long run. Because, like you said, in the second half when they tried to play catch up, by that time, the Boston Celtics had already built up so much momentum. It was too little, too late. So for me, I'm not necessarily concerned about the Miami Heat at all. I think that this game was just a one-off and that they will wake the hell up coming into Game 4 and regain control of this series. But I'm looking at it. I mean, you had 4 Celtics players. You had the big 3, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then on top of that, Marcus Smart all had over 20-plus points in the game. I don't think that's going to happen again going into Game 4. Jimmy Butler had a somewhat of for his status, somewhat of a pedestrian game. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Whereas remember in the last episode we talked about the X factor for the Miami Heat being a Bam Adebayo. He showed up and showed out. 27 points, 16 rebounds. He balled the F out. However, and I think Tyler Hero also had a really, really good game too.
Yeah, he played well as well.
However, like I said, for me, I'm looking at this game and I think it's a one-off. I think that coming back into this game, Miami's going to make sure they put their foot. They better make sure they put their foot on the Boston Celtics next early and keep it there, because even though Miami is the better team, I think that we still have to acknowledge and respect the fact that the Celtics are still very much so talented from top to bottom. Jason Tatum, a future star, if not already one in the NBA, a great number 2 in a Jaylen Brown. We know what Marcus Smart brings to the table. We're not going to go on and on. The Miami Heat cannot get comfortable with this team, because this can turn into a situation where we go from talking about, we had expectations for this series to be over in no more than 5 games. This can be a situation where if the Miami Heat blinks, this can go 6, maybe even 7.
Absolutely.
So going into this game, this next game is crucial. They cannot allow the Boston Celtics to tie them up. I don't think that they will. Like I said, I think I said in the last episode that I didn't see it going past 5 games. I'm sticking with that. I think what'll happen is Miami will ultimately come back in the next game. I can see it coming down to the wire, maybe even going into overtime. But I can't see Miami losing the next game. And if they do, well, woo, it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation.
Yeah, because we're going to have to hope that history doesn't repeat itself. Because 2018, you saw, if I'm not mistaken, the Celtics were up 2-0 on the Cavs, and then LeBron led them back. And then last year, the Bucks and Giannis were up 2-0 on Toronto and Kawhi. They came back and won 4 straight. So if this is now another situation, history repeats itself. The team that's down 0-2, they're going to the finals representing the East. So.
Most definitely. So like I said, for myself personally, what would you say is your Game 4 prediction in terms of how you see that game playing out?
Well, for one, you mentioned something very good regarding Jimmy Butler being very pedestrian in Game 3. he came out himself and said, "Yo, man, we can't just keep waiting until the second half to be aggressive. We got to be aggressive out the gate."
Because remember that kind of happened in game 2, and he joked about it. He's like, "We're the comeback kids, whatever." Nah, you can't let that keep happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I foresee them coming out of the gate very strong. As always, Boston being a first half team, I foresee that first quarter going to Boston, but that second quarter will be resembled of what we've seen in the third quarters or the fourth quarters of Miami, where you see an offensive explosion.
Right.
So I expect them to put up, first and foremost, in game 4 by halftime, Miami will have 50 points plus. Okay. I think they'll have that there for sure, if not 60. But I foresee them winning this game by about 12. I think they're going to take the lead and they're going to run with it.
Most definitely. For me, like I said, I can see that I have Miami winning game 4 because they need to win game 4, and I think that game 3 was important, not just for this series, but for the rest of the playoffs, to remind them, yes, they are arguably the second best team that's left in the playoffs. However, you cannot get comfortable. The Celtics now have momentum on their side. So I think that will affect them coming out early into the game, where they will play very well. You understand that they'll shoot the ball very, very well. However, I think that, once again, Jimmy Butler coming into this game is not going to have a repeat performance that he did in game 3. I can see him going for at least 30, 35 points. Tyler Hero, he's going to show up and show out. Bam Adebayo, he's going to show up and show out. I'm looking at Duncan Robinson. He's sneaky. Yeah, him and Jay Crowder, they're very, very sneaky, especially Jay Crowder being a 3-and-D kind of dude. But all in all, I expect that this game, even though the momentum will be on the Celtics side, I think that this will be a game that the Miami Heat come out with. It will come down to the wire, but I got Miami winning this game.
Okay, all right.
But then we take it to the Western Conference Finals, right? You have the Lakers, you have the Nuggets. Right now, funny enough, as y'all are watching this, y'all are seeing this, today's Tuesday or Wednesday. We're recording this as the game is playing in the background. Funny enough, we're watching it as we're discussing it. Nonetheless, let's talk about game 2.
Yeah, Denver's winning by 14.
Yeah, right now, as we're taping this segment, it's the second quarter. It's 6 minutes and 40 seconds left. We'll see how. It'll be funny if we predict one thing and then the game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It'll be hysterical. However, we're not talking about game 3 right now. We're talking about game 2, where the Lakers were able to secure the W on a last-second game-winning jump shot, game-winning three-pointer by Anthony Davis at the buzzer. What were your thoughts on the game and the Lakers' performance in game 2?
I thought it was a sensational performance from Denver and Jokic. Okay. He put the team on his back. If I'm not mistaken, he scored their last 11 points, something of that nature. And then you saw AD, who was getting pretty much babied on the defensive end by Jokic, come alive
on the offensive end,
and then take the Lakers to the promised land. It's very interesting, the dichotomy that's going on with the Lakers right now, because it appears that what LeBron is doing is, I'll get things started, I'll be aggressive, and then I'll be lax towards the end and leave the opening for you. It felt like it was the Lakers' game to lose, and then suddenly the Nuggets turned on the switch like, yo, wait a minute, we can win this thing. The Lakers gave them confidence, because if you watch that first half, although it was still relatively close, the Lakers should have been able to run away with it. Defensively, the Nuggets played well, but you could still see the holes here.
Right.
So my takeaway from it was a hell of a shot by AD, but it was a game that the Lakers should have been able to win without having to get to that point. As we're sitting here right now, like you spoke about, the Nuggets are winning as we speak. But 14. I still do not see, them being able to walk away with this series. I mean,
best case scenario, I see that if they were to win a game in the series, I mean, it's looking like this would be the game for them to win right now. However, like I said, I cannot realistically see this series going past 4, 5, or 6 games. But I will say this much. We shared those same sentiments about the Clippers and Nuggets series.
Yep, yes, we did.
And we also shared those same sentiments about the Utah Nuggets series when Utah was up 3-1.
Yep.
Look how both those series turned out.
Made us look stupid.
Made everybody look
made
stupid.
America look stupid.
It made the Clippers and dusty ass, stinky ass, musty ass, dirty ass Patrick Beverley look stupid. Nonetheless, I say that to say this. Do not disrespect the Denver Nuggets. They are a dynamic offensive team that can get red hot and embarrass any team in the league, and they've shown you that for 2 series in a row now. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens for the 3rd series. Like I said, I will die on my sword. I said it at the beginning of the season, I said it midway through the season, and I'm gonna say it now, even with basketball being in the bubble. I have the Lakers going to the NBA Finals. However, I'm not going to disrespect the Denver Nuggets too much, because everything we're saying now, we said about the past 2 series. In the same way that I believe that this series won't go past 5 or 6 games, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up going 7. The ball is in the Lakers' hands. Like I said in the last episode, AD has to show up and show out. And show up and show out is exactly what he did in Game 2. You're talking about, what is it, 31 points, 9 rebounds with the game-winning shot. Now remember, the game-winning shot was actually supposed to be for LeBron.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for
The
LeBron.
person who's inbounding the pass has to be the best passer. The best passer on the Lakers is Braun, but at the same time, he's also semi the closer. So realistically speaking, the person who inbounded it had to be Rondo. Braun was supposed to get the pass. I don't know what happened. I guess, when you watch play, he was kind of just standing there. AD came around the corner. The rest is history. But I'm looking at I'm looking at LeBron in particular because in the first half he was red hot. I think he scored like 20 or 22.
No, 20.
Scored 20 in the first half.
And then only 6 in the second.
Unacceptable. But in that same vein, that's the exact same reason why I think that the Los Angeles Lakers will come out with the W in the series, because I don't expect that to happen in we're watching Game 4 now. Well, depending on what happens in Game 4, I don't expect that to happen. 3. I don't expect that to happen in Game 4. What you said is 100% right. It almost seems as if Braun comes out red hot and then in the second half kind of defers to AD. That can't happen. They have to find some type of chemistry where they can both keep going, keep the momentum going. Because once again, this Denver team is extremely dangerous, especially with a young sharpshooter and a Michael Porter Jr. He's going to be a star. You understand? And he's shown you flashes in these playoff series where you're looking at this dude. I think he's even gotten comparisons to like KD in certain.
Because he is just an offensive dynamo. You can tell it just comes naturally to him.
Right.
Now, granted, he's not out there who's going to give people 30 immediately Not yet. But he'll give you 20.
Oh, yeah.
But the only thing that the knock on him is he's not a two-way player. He's a one-trick pony. You're going to see this guy. He is there primarily to score. The only downside is right now on Denver, he's like the 4th option. Yeah. So as time goes, he's like the 4th option. I wouldn't categorize him as the
Murray's
third.
number 1. Jokic.
No, Jokic is 1.
You
Murray
say Jokic
two.
is 4?
I'd say Jokic is 1.
Okay.
He's 1 because he's the all-star. And he's also, in my opinion, he's the best passer.
Gotcha.
So,
no, we know that's everybody's opinion.
Yeah, Jokic is 1.
Okay.
And in the playoffs, it's since become Murray.
Okay.
But Jokic is still number 1 option. I would probably...
Murray has to be number 2.
Murray's 2. But the only reason why I put MPJ at 4 is because that 3 spot is always all over the place.
Interesting.
A lot of times you can see Harris mess around and get those shot attempts. You can see Millsap mess around and get those shot attempts. You don't see consistent numbers of you're getting 10 shots out of Porter Jr. You're getting 12 shots out of Millsap. It's all over the place. But because that other slot is much more consistent than what I'm seeing from Porter Jr., that's why I can't put him at 3. But there are moments where he's 3. So, yeah.
And the funniest thing about this team is that you're looking at a Jokic. I think he was all NBA 3rd team or 2nd team. I don't even remember. I know AD was 1st team.
AD was 1st.
Was it 2nd or 3rd team? Regardless,
Jokic might have been 3rd team.
Like I look at him the same way I look at a Luka Doncic, because it's like you look at them physically, and you're like, all right, tall, whatever, a regular sized dude. But then you look at the stat line, and it's like at the end of every game, it's like triple double here, 30 and 10 here and there, whatever it may be. It's like he's I'm trying to find the word, not enigma. There's a word for it, but you look at him and his style of playing. It's like, how are people not able to guard this dude? He's absolutely unbelievable. We understand it and recognize his passing ability is probably second to none in the league. It's absolutely right. Son is bombing full court passes. Like he's literally catch a rebound, turn it back, and before you even think, just flinging it right on the money.
Touch passes, man.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And think about what he's done, because remember, he was physically during the season, it wasn't appealing. Now I think that he lost like 15 pounds going into the bubble. And I think he's playing himself into even better shape now. So if he keeps this physique, now you're going to look like, wait a minute, hold on. We thought we saw a beast. You about to see a dragon or something like that. Son's about to evolve, son.
He different. But nonetheless, like I said, the Denver Nuggets are not to be disrespected. They've given you 2 series reasons worth for you to understand that. So for me, like I said, we have Game 3 playing in the back right now. We're going to see how that turns out. Right now, the Denver Nuggets are up like, what was it, 14? No, more.
No, 16.
16. It's
55-39.
Still the first half. Things might change in the second half. We don't know. But all in all, like I said, I'm sticking with my pick. The Lakers will ultimately come out and win this series. If they don't respect the Denver Nuggets enough and come out and do what they have to do, this series could go 7 games, but I don't think it'll go that far. 5, 6 the maximum, and then we'll take it from there. But that's all we have to talk about in regards to NBA basketball. Now we take a transition to the NFL. Week 2 has now officially passed. A lot of things are going on, but man, a gruesome week. A gruesome week for football.
At least in the training room.
No,
it was bad.
No, yeah. I mean, the injuries that took place were absolutely ridiculous. Going to the 49ers, you have Nick Bosa with the ACL, Panthers, Christian McCaffrey with the high ankle sprain, the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, ACL, Malik Hooker, the safety for the Indianapolis
Colts.
Torn Achilles, Cortland Sutton for the Broncos, ACL.
Hell, Drew Lock from the Broncos too.
Shoulder
shoulder
injury. They just finished signing Blake Bortles, Jimmy Garoppolo with the high ankle sprain injury, and that's not even all of them.
Nick Bosa.
No, I said Nick
Bosa. Solomon. He has
a knee, but we don't know.
And Sherman's gonna be missing some games too.
There you go. You understand the injuries on top of injuries on top of injuries. I don't know what kind of injury bug was going on. I mean, you touched on it before. You said you were wondering if lack of OTA.
Yeah, it's because for me the way I saw it was their injuries happen. It's a part of football.
Yeah.
There's no real way to prevent it in a sense.
Right.
If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Right.
However, the lack of conditioning, in a sense, in being in football shape, it's going to maximize the amount of injuries that you're going to get. Because look at it like this. As we spoke off air, involuntary workouts, they start about, non-mandatory, it's about in like June or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, in May, you have this right after the draft, so you have like the rookies who can come in. And then June is, I think it's not mandatory or something of that nature, but July is when training camp starts, so everybody got to be there. Since they gave the clearance for the teams to get together in late July, and then you go straight into what would have been the preseason, your body's not ready yet. And then on top of that, with the fields, a lot of people were talking about in MetLife because of the situation with the 49ers, the field wasn't ready, but it passed all of the regulations. I think it's more along the lines of football shape, everybody ain't there yet. Because regularly, nobody's body is ready for football until week 4 of the season.
That's true. Yeah.
So now you're getting into full contact, 100% speed, 100% of the time.
Mind you, remember, no preseason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A month beforehand. So the lack of preseason, and I believe it played a huge substantial role in these people getting hurt. And it's unfortunate. It really is. Yeah. Because if you're an organization, what can you do to counter it? COVID blocked you from having anything. Right. So, I mean, blame it on COVID. Call up Jamie Foxx. Blame it on the COVID. It's over.
It's over. No, it's absolutely over.
Whole lot of people's fantasy teams got murdered. I really don't care too much about fantasy, but it's unfortunate.
I don't play no type of fantasy either, but I'm praying for a lot of fantasy owners out there, especially for people that own the two, I think, biggest names to suffer the worst injuries in a Nick Bosa. Well, I mean, in fantasy, they only do offense. But,
fantasy.
In a Nick Bosa, defensive end for the San Francisco 49ers, along with a Saquon Barkley, the star running back for the New York Giants. I got to ask you, of course, these two being the biggest amongst the large medley of injuries. First, let's start off with Saquon Barkley. How do you think Saquon's ACL injury, because remember, he's dealing with this ACL injury. Last season, he damn near missed half the season because of the high ankle sprain that he had. Comes back again this season, only coming into game 2, tears his ACL. Now he's out for this entire season. Do you think that this will inevitably negatively affect
him getting paid?
Saquon Barkley's big payday?
No.
Okay.
I think he's going to sign a huge contract while he's still recovering. Because his talent is undeniable. He passes the eye test, as I think Max Kellerman would allude to.
Yeah.
So because you can see the talent that he has, you don't have to second guess it. You pay that man. Whether he come back 100% or 75%, you pay that man because you see it's there. Right. And one name that you didn't mention was Christian McCaffrey, because he's not going to be out for the year. He's only to miss a couple games. Yeah, I think.
Well, he also has a high ankle.
Yeah, but his situation, he'll be coming back. Unfortunately for the Panthers, these are games they can't afford to lose, and they're starting out 0-2 if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I didn't have them winning going to the playoffs.
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah. But the Panther faithful, they would have hoped. But with Barkley, I don't think this affects it at all because he has the talent that's there. Now, granted, he only really had one huge season, that which being was his rookie year. Yeah. But the Giants, piss poor. A lot of people thought, man, we upgraded our offensive line. It doesn't look that way. So he's going to get paid. Whether it's going to stay in New York, I can't recall what his rookie contract was, if it's a 4-year option or a 5-year option. So if he was to be entering free agency next year, or he's going to be an unrestricted sort of free agent or restricted free agent, I'm sure a lot of people might be trying to cut deals or things of that nature. But I don't think this is going to affect his payday at all. That brother's going to get his money.
Yeah, no. I don't think it's going to affect his payday either. Off camera, you and I talked about how if he does get paid, trade. He should be looking to get out of New York. However, I don't think the Giants are going to let that happen. Outside of talent, he is the franchise player. He brings all the star power to the New York Giants. Because outside of him, who is? Remember, it goes. This is the entertainment industry, right? So it goes, of course, beyond just football talent and things like that. At the end of the day, it's also about allure, especially in a market as big as New York. Outside of Saquon Barkley, who else do the Giants have to really get people? I mean, now because of COVID, it's not really any live gate. But outside of, hypothetically speaking, outside of Saquon Barkley, who do the Giants have that are going to put butts in seats? Not necessarily Daniel Jones. He's shown that he can be a solid starting quarterback in the league. However, there's no real star power there. Then after that, you have Darius Slayton. Not really, no. Sterling Shepard. Not really, no. On defense, I don't even really know what's going on.
Yeah, there's
there you go. There you go. I mean,
Eli is he retired.
There you go.
Yeah, Michael Straight.
No. Victor Cruz. Also, no, he's not even there anymore.
The Tiki.
Maybe
Lawrence. That was years ago.
We weren't even born.
Oh boy. Yeah.
It's Saquon or bust for the New York Giants. For me personally, obviously, this is a very gruesome injury to come back from, and given the position that he plays, that has
very demanding,
and that's in his situation with a young quarterback and a Daniel Jones. A lot of people were looking for Saquon to carry most of the load to help ingratiate Daniel Jones into his new position as the official starting quarterback for the New York Giants. But he's going to get his big payday. I think he's going to get a market-setting contract. I'll even go as far to say that, because I repeat, the Giants cannot afford to lose Saquon Barkley. You lose Saquon Barkley, you lose Big Blue Nation. You understand? It's really that deep for him. And like you said, his talent alone merits the fact that he will get paid. I think he'll be fine. He'll come back better than ever. However, you go to the West Coast, San Francisco, Nick Bosa's injury. How do you think this will affect the 49ers moving forward?
Well, basically, it's extremely difficult. You look at it like this, right? This was a team that just left the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they were not necessarily slotted to return, but at least compete to possibly return.
They were considered
Nick Bosa was arguably their best defender. I mean, you lost, if I'm not mistaken, DeForest Buckner left.
He's in
He went on. He left. I know it was a blue team. It was either Detroit or Indy, but he's in Indy. Yeah, I saw he had some monster play. He threw a guard. He flung a guard. It was crazy. He out there looking like Reggie White.
Yes.
But whatever the case may be, he's gone, right?
Yes, sir.
So now Nick Bosa, they have this guy as. This is the reigning rookie defensive player of the year. You expect this guy to go and get you double-digit sacks.
Yes, sir.
He has the high motor. He's going to be the leader on that defensive line. And what happens? Injury. So now he's gone.
Right.
For the 49ers, this is a huge blow.
Huge loss.
Because you lost right now, and mind you, Garoppolo has a high ankle sprain, if I'm not mistaken.
He's out for a couple of games.
Yeah, he's out for a couple of games. So you got to go with who the hell is Nick Mullins. And then on defensive end, Sherman is already out. You're losing impact players. And Raheem Mostert, if I'm not mistaken, he got hurt too.
Oh, no, this is bad.
So they losing a ton of people.
Bro, it's not funny, but it's sad. No,
it's sad.
And it's more than that. First off,
because it's so sudden.
It's so sudden, and it all happened. And mind you, you didn't even name all the people. Their entire defensive front is decimated. You understand? Nick Bosa is out. Arik Armstead is also injured. D Ford, I think the defensive tackle, he's injured. I'm not necessarily sure what he has. You have a DeForest Buckner that went to the Indianapolis Colts, right? So essentially, their entire front four is doing a complete change. You understand? So that in and of itself is terrible. And then in the secondary, Sherman, of course, we know what the impact and the effect that he has for that team, being the vocally, the emotionally, the vet guy to help rally the troops. He's not there anymore. Offensively, Raheem Mostert's out. Jimmy Garoppolo's out. I don't know what God's beef is with the 49ers, but someone must have. I don't know if this is voodoo. I don't know what is going on, but this is bad. This is I haven't seen anything like this in quite some time. You've been watching football longer than me. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. This is wrong.
This sudden where they're losing this much, and it's a team that's actually slotted to compete.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, man. It's something that you don't want to see.
Right.
So I feel bad for them because I initially didn't have them winning the division anyway.
No.
Because I say Seattle was going to carry that division. On top of that, I said Arizona would probably pop up. Now I didn't expect Arizona to be as good as they are right now. I expect them to really perform offensively, but defensively they're doing their job too. But for San Francisco, if they can rally around Nick Mullins, perhaps if they can walk around if they can get into Week 6 at a 3-3 or 4-2. Well, 4-2, they'd have to win 4 straight. So if they could get there at 3-3, if Nick Mullins could give them 1 L and 3 wins, maybe they can salvage their season. But Right now, it's looking like you got to take the L out of love it. It's over, bro.
Even as we're talking about, another thing I just remembered is that I think Kittle is injured as
Yes,
well.
Kittle is hurt as well, yeah.
And then remember, they lost Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, boy.
So it's like, damn. You're looking at the 40. If you're a 49ers fan, I know you're hurting right now. So on offense and the defensive side of the ball, it's looking rough on all ends. I don't know how long Kittle is going to be out.
Yeah.
But I mean, damn. I mean, the next question I was going to ask was between Barkley and Bosa, which of the teams are most affected by their absence. I think you would have to say Bosa, just less because of him and more because of the context of his injury, right? When you look at a guy like Bosa, of course, we understand. A lot of people would argue he is the best player on the team. However, because of how many pieces that they lost on defense on top of him, the 49ers, I mean, depending on the length of some of these injuries, might end up having the worst record in the NFC West. It's possible. You understand? Because moving forward, I literally don't even know who the number one wide receiver is now. They drafted Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State University. I don't really know how he's been playing up until this point, but
they still don't have Deebo Samuel back.
They still don't have Deebo. So it's looking like a shitstorm for the 49ers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man.
It's extremely unfortunate, but most definitely prayers go out to all those people affected by injury. But moving forward, outside of the 49ers, I want to get into some quarterback talk. Because there are a lot of different things going on with a lot of different quarterbacks around the league. And I wanted to start off in particular with, I think, one of the biggest stories coming into the season for quarterbacks. And I'm talking in regards to a Cam Newton and a Tom Brady. Two players, right? Two completely different new franchises. Tom Brady going from the New England Patriots onto the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you have a Cam Newton who seemed like he was getting ready to be out of a job coming into the season.
Yeah.
Looked like if he was going to have a job, it was going to be as a backup quarterback coming into the season. Now the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. Both of these quarterbacks 1-1 in their first two games coming into their franchises. Now, we're going to start off with Cam because I wanted to know if you had to give a letter grade for both individual quarterbacks, what would you give them starting off with Cam?
If I had to give Cam, I'm excited for this one because I can't tell you how happy I am for Cam Newton right now. If I have to give a grade for Cam, it's a B+.
Yeah.
It is a B+, and you lucky it's not an A. I might just give it an A- and upgrade it as we speak.
Yeah.
Cam, or I should give the props to Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, and that Patriots front office. Those guys are doing their job.
Oh, yeah.
Because Cam in week one came out and he had a certain role. I'm going to run. I think he had 75 yards, 2 TDs on the ground. He didn't have to throw too much. But this past Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken, 397 that he put through the air, and then you had 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Yes, he did.
And I think he had 1 through the air. I can't recall if he threw 2 touchdowns.
He threw 1 touchdown and 1
interception. One touchdown, 1 INT, and he also ran 2 in himself. This brother is fitting perfectly like a glove right into the Patriots offense. I love it. I'm excited for him. I hope this brother possibly can mess around and win himself an MVP. Maybe not a Super Bowl, at least not in New England. But I wish this brother the best, man. He is balling out there.
He's balling. I mean, granted, it's still extremely early in the season, so you definitely don't want to jump and say anything, speak out of hyperbole. But Cam Newton, man, I'm gonna give him an A. If you don't want to give him an A, I'm gonna give him an A. Just I hesitated on giving him a 2. I would have easily gave it to him if they were 2-0. But because they were 1-1, I hesitated. But then when I looked at the last play of that Seattle game, where it was less about him and more about the play call, I would have liked to have seen them go for a pass play instead of trying to run it into the end zone. I don't really understand what they were trying to do with that. I mean, but it is what it is. But I'm looking at Cam Newton. I mean, on the season so far, this man is completing 71.4% of his passes, 552 yards, 1 touchdown. What's his name? 1 touchdown, 1 pass touchdown to 1 interception, 122 yards on the ground with 4 rushing TDs. Cam Newton is back. You understand? And I'm looking at some of these plays that he's making, man, and I'm getting flashes of 2015. Granted, we understand and recognize that because of the style of play that he has. We understood that coming into this season, wherever he was playing. The expectations, I think, were very low, just for the simple fact that we didn't know what we were getting. I think last year was the injury, was his knee or was his ankle?
It was he still
was
had
his shoulder?
No, it was his ankle. It was his ankle.
Got
yeah.
you.
But I
understand?
think the shoulder injury from 2 years ago was still lingering.
Right.
Yeah.
What has made Cam dynamic throughout the entirety of his career is his ability to run, right? It's not that he can't throw the football, it's just that when he did, there were questions about his accuracy. However, when it comes to what we've seen so far from the New England Patriots, first of all, the way that they've been able to put this team together around him, and just all in all, the effect, like when you looked at the New England Patriots offense last year with Brady, you understand, granted, you could point to a couple of holes that were there, but for the most part, in terms of just energy, You understand? In terms of what you saw, like in team morale and things like that, it just seemed lifeless. They seemed dead. They seemed like they all kind of knew that, there was only so far that they could go in the season. However, with this brandly new Cam Newton-led team, I'm looking at this New England Patriots team. They're exciting. They're fun to watch. They look like they want to play hard for their quarterback. They love playing for this quarterback in a Cam Newton. And I'm loving it, man. I'm excited to see. I still pick the Buffalo Bills to come out on top in the AFC East because I love, even though I love what Cam Newton's doing, I love what Josh Allen is doing twice as much. We'll talk about that on another segment because that brother is balling out. But Cam Newton, man, and like you said, I think all of us are happy because who doesn't love Cam? You understand? Superman, the dab, all of this other stuff. I was really, we all assumed, I was one of the people that assumed that the Chargers were going to take him, but we saw that they got Herbert, so we knew that wasn't going to happen. But to see the Patriots jump and make this move and to see how well, like you said, like a glove, that he's fit into the system, absolutely sensational, man. Absolutely sensational. But then you go down to Florida. They don't call it Florida. They call it Florida.
Yeah, but weird things happen. Bath salts.
Yeah, a lot of
Eating people's faces.
Well, that is a real thing. That has actually happened in Florida. You have Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Tom Brady now resides and is playing in year 17? No, not
year 21.
Year 21. I'm confusing it with Braun. Tom Brady, 1-1 on the season. First 2 back-to-back divisional games. Lost his first one against the New Orleans Saints. Wins the second one against the Carolina Panthers. What letter grade would you give Tom Brady so far in this?
A C.
Okay.
I'll give him a C because he's just is very average right now. I mean, both games pretty much mirrored themselves. I mean, you had an INT in both.
Yes, he did.
First game you had 2. Second game you only had 1. He only had 1 touchdown pass this game. When you look at the accuracy of what he did, if I'm not mistaken, he completed 23 passes back-to-back games. First game was 23 of 36. This game was 23 of 35, or maybe vice versa. He's yet to throw over 250. Gronk hasn't caught a ball yet. That's more by design. No, at least not this game. But he caught one. I think he caught 2.
I think he 2 for
but
11.
He's not
a
impact
factor
player at all.
At all.
So I think the problem that I have with Brady, why I'm grading him so low, is there's no chemistry. The Bucs offense, even I would love to say there's at least an identity on the ground. There's not. If you take away Fournette's 40-plus yard run, he only ran for like 60-some yards. The offense became stagnant because they had a decent lead over the Panthers, and then suddenly the Panthers started coming back and were within 1 score away from evening up the score. So the way I'm seeing it right now is for Tom, he's just very, not necessarily pedestrian, he's slightly above average. But he's still at that C area. He's going to have to play better if I'd like to, grade him higher. He still is Brady now.
Yes, he is.
But maybe not so capitalized Brady. Maybe kind of lowercase.
Lowercase Brady?
Lowercase Brady.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Brady not a C. I'll give him a C plus. On the season right now, Tom Brady 64.8% completion percentage. Right. 600. No, I'm not 600 yards. 456 yards on the year. 3 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Look, here's the deal. I don't want to say defend Brady, but I'll put an asterisk on his play for something that you pointed out earlier on the show. This is a man that played with the New England Patriots for 20 seasons. You have 20-plus seasons, you understand. Now he's going into a totally new system, new everything. New head coach, new offensive weapons, new O-line, new running back with absolutely no preseason play. I mean, because of COVID, everything was very limited and things of that nature. I'm going to give him a break. However, you understand and recognize because of the tie to the Brady-Belichick legacy, the pressure is on. Absolutely. And because of who he is, arguably the greatest quarterback to have ever played the game, him wanting to play at this level, we all understand and recognize that, the expectation is here. You understand? This is a man where for the past decade and a half, the expectation has always been Super Bowl or bust. Now you go into a brand new system with arguably two of the best wide receiving, top 10, top 15 best wide receiving weapons in the league, right? New respected head coach in a Bruce Arians. The excuses for a lot of people are nobody's really trying to hear.
Yeah, Golden State Buccaneers. Huh?
Golden State Buccaneers. That's an interesting. But as you know, football in terms of chemistry, it's a situation where there are too many moving pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to take some time. So I'm going to watch very, very closely to see how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers progress. I expect that they'll slowly but surely start to get things together more towards the middle of the season. If we don't really see them start to gel by then, I wouldn't be surprised if this team ends up 7-9. 8-8. It's a possibility.
Man, I foresee either an 8-8 or a 9-7 kind of season because people overlook how important chemistry is.
Right.
Because regardless of the fact of how great the different sort of players you're plugging together, if they don't mesh and work together like a well-oiled machine,
Most definitely.
you're going to lose games.
Yeah.
You're going to lose games because football, it's not like basketball where you have 82 games and you could figure it out in the second half of the season. Football, every game counts. Some people like to think you can lose a game. Every single game counts,
every game,
especially early on. I've always been one to say the season don't count until week 5, right?
Interesting.
I always say the season don't count until week 5 because that's when you figure out the certain identities for teams. However, in the NFC South, you cannot afford to lose games because there's certain divisions. If you're in the NFC East,
Can't
like the
afford-
Cowboys are in, right?
Yep.
For example, you already said it that 9-7, 10-6 probably wins the division. So because you know teams are extremely inconsistent here, you can mess around, start 0-2, and you can feel, we good.
Yeah.
NFC South, the Saints are there. The not really too worried about the Panthers.
the Falcons
The Falcons
are-
are. You never really know with them. They always, Dan Quinn's got a
I
problem
don't
with being
think
the
he'll make it
director
the rest
at
of the
Brazos.
season.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to last that long
Yeah.
either. Lisa Ann Challenge, whatever the hell they're doing over there. But the NFC South, you're not in a position to where you can slack off.
Can't.
Moreover, because the NFC has a tendency of having wild card teams that mess around and have higher records, because there's always that 5 seed that could have been the 1 or 2 seed.
Right.
It's always like that. Because remember, last year it was like that with Seattle and San Francisco.
Yep. That's very true.
Whoever the hell won the last game, they go to the wild card, and both teams were sitting with only 3 L's
Yes, sir.
at that particular time.
Yeah.
So with Minnesota struggling, but they'll probably end up turning it around.
I can see that.
Everybody in the NFC West, you already know those guys are balling.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to start slow and be sluggish. And the way I see the Bucks right now, it's nice to be sitting at 1-1, but let's just be honest here. If they play this brand of football throughout the season, you fixing to lose
Yeah.
about 50% of your games.
you
So
go.
they got to step it up. It all comes down to having chemistry.
Yep.
Now, nobody expects it to happen overnight fast, but you
it
better
don't.
get it together. You got a lot of veterans in that locker room. Guys going to have to start looking each other in the eye and say, yo, what kind of football player you want to be, bro? Because we can't afford to go out there and waste time. Brady is 43.
Yeah.
This ain't no long-term experiment. He's there to win now.
Yes, sir.
Tampa Bay fans are waiting to win now.
Yeah.
So if they don't go out there, what's going to happen? They going home what? Stinky. You don't want to have that happen, bro. It's going to be bad. They going to be looking like Pat Bev right now. You don't want to have it going down
Dusty
like that,
ass, stinky ass, musty ass, Pat Bev, man. But no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, they definitely have to figure out and get it together. I wasn't a big fan of Bruce Arians' comments after, I think it was game
Oh,
one.
yeah. I
That was
didn't
a bit
like-
much. That was
yeah,
a bit much.
I don't.
And I don't think that was really the best thing in terms of, I guess, building a rapport and a chemistry with Brady. However, Bruce Arians has always been a very, like,
Shoot from the hip kind of guy,
he
man.
don't give a damn.
He don't. He don't.
And he's like, hey, I mean, it is what it is. However, we'll see what, like I said, it's still extremely early in the season. However, given that they are, when you're a team in the NFC South, or like I can agree, in the NFC East, every game, every play, every down counts. You cannot afford to lose games. So we'll see how things plan out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. But I want to take my sights elsewhere to a quarterback that is playing out of his mind in the NFC, not in the NFC South, but in the NFC West. I'm talking about Russell Ball Out Wilson.
And you don't call him Dangerous for no reason.
No, he's as dangerous as come, because this man is playing out of his mind. On the season right now, Russell Wilson, 82.5 completion percentage, 610 yards, 9
TDs.
touchdowns to 1 interception. Oh, you want to know what it is? It's Sierra. They just had a new kid. You understand? I don't know what's going on at home, but hey, man, hey, keep it coming, because this man is on. Listen. I went on record before Game 2 last week, and on the last episode, and I said this is the season that Russell Wilson will finally get the respect that he deserves and win his first regular season MVP. And you go into Game 2 and you do this. Well, yeah, I think you do for like five. Like what was that?
5 TDs.
Oh,
5 TDs.
oh, wait, no,
against the
oh,
Patriot defense that was, if I'm not mistaken, ranked
And
number 1 in
by
the league
the way,
last year.
the one interception that he had was not his fault.
No, yeah, Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen, Butterfingers.
Yeah.
As you know, what happened? I can't really do it. You have the voice.
What happened
There you go.
to his hand?
If it wasn't for Greg Olsen and his Butterfingers, what's his name? But Russell Wilson would probably be 9 touchdowns to 0 interceptions on this season. This man is balling. And I gotta ask you, do you believe that this is the season where he will finally win his first regular season MVP?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I had him slotted as my MVP last year up until about week 13. And then I said, yeah, Lamar got it.
Yeah.
It was at that point, I'm like, yeah, Lamar got it.
Yeah.
But I was on the Russ train for quite some time. I believe he's gotten better every single year. But the
man.
craziest stat isn't even the TD to INT ratio. It's the completion percentage.
Yeah.
This guy is this generation's Drew Brees. He is accurate, and he has the touchdown INT ratio of an Aaron Rodgers in the prime. This guy has gotten better. Remember, when he came into the league, he was bona fide game manager.
Yes, sir.
He had certain games where he was like, whoa, wait a minute. This
show
guy
you flashes.
He can show you flashes,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it was the defense carrying him. He said, oh no, Seattle, my team. Hey, Pete Carroll, hop on my back. I'll take you to the promised land. Who needs the Legion of Boom? You got the Legion of Russ.
Yeah.
And this guy is out there slinging it all over the place. 5 TDs, and if I'm not mistaken, all 5 to different receivers.
Yeah. Off of the different
The different receivers.
Bro,
He
did you
got
see-
Tyler Lockett
Oh.
first, and he had David Moore
The
second.
David Moore
he got
touchdown.
DK Metcalf. No, he had DK Metcalf second. David Moore third. And that pass was sensational because
David-
apparently the catch percentage was
like-
like 5%. And David Moore did a hell of a job by
You a
keeping
bad
that right
man.
foot down because I thought it was going out of
I
bounds.
thought so too. He got it right inside the
Sensational
5.
game
He's balling,
by
man.
Russell Wilson, man. This guy is balling out of his mind. He is my MVP. He's going to get it.
Russell has always played in spite of, in certain seasons has always played in spite of his team. Remember last season he had basically lost all of his running backs.
Yup.
They had to bring back beast mode. You understand? Their offensive line was shredded, and this man still found a way. But as we all know, in the game of football, there's only so much that one player can do. This is not basketball where you can put the team on your back and rally the troops down the line. You need the assistance of your team on all levels and on all phases. And this year, it seems like it's still extremely early, right? But you know, what's his name? Chris Carson is doing his thing. The offensive line looks better. DK Metcalf, I mean, damn that. But did you see the catch on Stephon Gilmore?
The first touchdown that Gilmore given up in 2 years, man.
That, man, listen, and I'm looking at a Russell Wilson. The question I have to ask is, what can't he do? He can make every throw. We already know what he's able to do when he rolls out of the pocket.
Absolute dangerous.
This man is a baller. And I'm looking at this NFC West team. I didn't have before. Injuries aside, I did not have the 49ers winning the division. I thought that this was going to be like a Super Bowl hangover.
Absolutely.
Super Bowl
Absolutely.
Where, realistically speaking, maybe like on the best case scenario, they would have been like a 9-7 kind of team. The Rams, I'm very iffy on them.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel
I
about
don't
those
really know
guys.
how to feel about the Rams. The Cardinals are the second, for me, are the team to watch because they are playing. Listen, I'm going to say it right here, right now. I have Kyler Murray winning offensive player of the year this season. The dynamo that he is and what he brings to the offense, now having an added weapon in the DeAndre Hopkins that they just locked in. Larry Fitzgerald is there to help buffer up that wide receiving core. Don't forget about Christian Kirk. The offensive line is looking a little bit better.
Yep.
You understand? Defensively, they're doing their thing. I'm looking at this dude, Kyler Murray, man. As the season progresses, he's only gonna get better and better and making more plays. But I'm looking at Russ. Russ different, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Russ different, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Russ is really in his bag this season, and I got him winning MVP. It's gonna be an
Yeah, Seattle just needs to figure out what they're doing defensively.
Yeah.
And if they can figure that, because look at it like this, all right? Cam and the Patriots, they put up 30 points, missed field goal by Nick Folk, and more importantly, if Nick Folk made the 51-yard field goal. Think about it, because look at it like this: in the field goal that he missed, right? Which bitch ass should not have met. But the field goal that he missed,
Right.
if you put that 3 points on the board, this is a whole different game down the stretch. Because now they're only trailing by 2. They lost the game. Why? Because Cam got stopped at the 1-yard line.
Yep.
If you trailing by 2, a field goal wins it for you.
Yeah.
So the failures of Nick Folk put the Patriots in a hole to where they lost.
Right.
For Russell Wilson, you could have had a sensational game like this and left with an L. In the game against Atlanta, offensive. Now, Seattle was already far and away with the lead, and Atlanta had to kind of like play catch up in week 1. But they still, you could see the offense was moving the football. Matt Ryan didn't have a bad game or things about that nature. So if I'm Seattle, if you really want to cement how good Russell Wilson's playing, you got to make sure the defense is there to back it up, because you don't want to have an empty MVP season. You don't want to have that happen. So.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man.
But man, shout out to Russell Wilson, man. I pray that offensive line protects that man and keeps him from injury, because this is the season. I feel it. I know it. I see it. And goddamn.
Yeah.
But let's stay in the NFC and talk about another quarterback that, I mean, right now is you can make the argument he's looking like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. I'm talking about a quarterback in my division. And no, it's not Dak Prescott. No, it's not Dwayne Haskins. No, it's not even Daniel Jones. I'm talking about Carson Bum-ass Wentz, who on the season, I'm looking at his stats here on the season, 58% completion percentage, 512 yards, 2 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. On the season, this man has a 23 QBR. Game 1, he gets sacked 8 times.
8 times.
8 times.
Yep.
8 times. What the hell is wrong with Carson Wentz?
I'd love to say, because he was slot. In my opinion, he was the best quarterback in the NFC East. And right now, it's looking like it's Dak.
Yeah.
But guy's struggling, man. What can you say? He's struggling. Week 1, you could point towards the offensive line and say he ain't get nobody helped this brother at all. He breathed. He was on the floor. This game in particular, the defense didn't show up for Philly at all.
Right.
And then offensively, they're like, all right, let's try to air it out. And this guy was missing throws all over the place. So Philly got to figure it out. Carson Wentz, he is struggling mentally. So whatever the case may be, there's no excuses that can be made for this brother. You got to play better.
Got to.
You have to play better, bar none. I wish I could tell you what's wrong with him. Maybe he needs Ciara in his life.
Yeah,
maybe he need to leave the girl he with, find a hoe, turn her into a housewife, and maybe that may just work in his favor. Whatever the case may be, I don't know, bro. Carson Wentz, you got to play better, bro. Because I still believe in you. I still believe in you. This is the NFC East, baby. Yeah. You can start out 0-8, you mess around and still go to the playoff.
That's actually
all right?
true.
Get it together, Carson. Get it together.
I'm going to start off by saying this. Before I address Carson Wentz, I need to look in the camera and talk to my quarterback, Dak Prescott. And forget Dak Prescott. I want to talk to the entire Dallas Cowboys franchise. If y'all don't win the NFC East this year, I will catch a flight personally to slapbox Jerry Jones in front of AT&T Stadium, because there will be questions that need answers at this point. What is stopping my Cowboys from winning the NFC East? No, I don't get it. The Giants are still rebuilding. The Redskins are still rebuilding. And I'm
Washington football team.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. The Washington football team. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Why don't they just give them a name? I don't understand that conversation.
Football team.
Yeah, there you go. Football. When you go on the NFL, it literally says football team. I don't understand why. But I'm looking at this Philadelphia Eagles team, man. And you know, a lot of people question. You know, it's funny. A lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans looked at the last draft and was like, why did they take a quarterback in the second round? Now in week 2, they're like, oh, okay, I see why. Carson Wentz is not looking good, man. And mind you, this isn't year 2, year 3, year 4. No, this is year 5. The pressure is on right now. You understand? You have yet to play a full game in the postseason due to injury. The one chance you had was last year, and then I think it was
Clowney hit him with the. I don't know if it was a helmet down or forehand, whatever it was, to the back of the head.
Then you're out for the game, right? The one season, your best season to date was the season where once again, I think he tore his ACL or whatever it was. Foles comes in, becomes a Super Bowl savior for the team. You have a ring now, congratulations. But guess what? They get rid of Foles because you're their guy. Yep. So now you're back in position to go out and show why you're your guy. And from then up until now, you have yet to get the job done. Now coming into this season, they draft a quarterback in the second round, Jalen Hurts from the University of Oklahoma. The pressure is on, and right now, my brother, I would not be surprised if by week 3, week 4. Now, I'm not even going to say week 6. So remember, to your point, it's the NFC East. You cannot afford. If they go 0-3, Jalen Hurts is going to be starting by week 4. I'm sorry.
I don't know about that.
If they cannot afford.
Then again, this Philly. So
you understand? You really
Philly booed Santa, so they might they mess around and switch coaches.
They don't care. No, and that's the one thing, because when you look at Philly, so many pieces have been moving around. The two that have remained the most consistent have been the head coach, right? I forget his son's name. What is it?
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson, and of course Carson Wentz. One of y'all gotta go, and it's either Wentz or it's either Doug Peterson. And for me, I mean, you can look at play calling, I guess, here and there, but when I'm watching Carson Wentz play, it just looks like he's trying to create things that aren't there. It almost like
a lot of improvisation.
He's playing with pressure. You can see that he's playing with pressure, and it's almost like he hears the talk, he hears the media, and he's trying to prove like, no, I'm the guy, instead of just going out there and playing his game, and it's affected him. So I mean, as a Cowboys fan, please keep going. But as a general football fan, I'm concerned for the brother because it's like I said, realistically, they cannot afford to go 0-3 in this division. You understand? You already lost one division game to the Redskins. Who they play in game 2?
Football team.
Football team. Who they play in game 2?
Game 2 they played the Rams, Los Angeles Rams.
You understand? I think their first game against the Cowboys is in November. They cannot afford to risk the team going 0-4. I say 0-3. They start to have serious conversations about pulling. Because remember, Hurts has already touched the field, but more as like a decoy on some plays here and there. We'll see what happens, but I'm concerned for Carson Wentz, man. Really,
and you know, here's the bizarre thing, right? Because if you think about what you're speaking about here, because Wentz didn't necessarily have a bad season last year,
right,
by any means. But this being a guy who got paid, and you're talking about possibly having him replaced by week 3, week 4, week 5. The only reason why it's so drastic is because the last 3 years since the Super Bowl season, Philly has gotten off to a very rocky start. They've never had a solidified, we out the gate and we feel good.
Right.
It's been up and down and all over the place. So they start out 3 games below 500, and then there's a late surge to get to where they got to get to. So, and because it's Philly, and they expect, and the fans demand that you go and perform. Who knows if the organization are going to pump the brake and say, let's ride this boat out. Let's figure out what's going on. The pressure's on Carson Wentz now, man. He's got to go and perform. I don't think he's going to mess around and get replaced this early. I think if he just struggles throughout the whole thing, maybe if they mess around and they like 2-8 or they 3 and something, they might consider, let's see what Hurts got going on because the season's already a wash. But then again, it's all indicative on how the field is playing, how the Cowboys and the football team,
I mean, I guess
and things are doing as well. So we'll have to see.
guess you could still say it's safe for the most part because it's like right now, it's not like the Cowboys are up 2-0.
They're not. They're only one game out. Yeah.
So maybe I am being a bit excited or a bit I'm not. I'm being harsh but when I look at Philly, like you said, the fan base, the organization, everything, and you got to understand and recognize, this is the NFL. We don't give a damn if you just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. We need you to win. Right?
Yeah, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? So, all in all, man, we'll see what happens with it. Do you know who they play in game?
Game 3 upcoming? No, not off the top of my head. No.
Got you. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Carson Wentz moving forward. But man, they got to figure it out because son looks terrible. But,
they're playing Cincinnati.
Oh,
yeah. So this should be a bounce back game.
If you do, but now you're in a situation where you have 2 quarterbacks that are 0-2. Joe Burrow is 0-2.
Yeah.
You understand? Joe Burrow's a natural born winner. He said himself he's never lost 2 of anything back to back. You have Carson Wentz who has something to prove. If Philly loses game 3 to the Bengals, that's man.
Yeah, so they have Cincinnati coming up, and then after that they have the depleted San Francisco team as well, and then they got Pittsburgh. That they gotta go see. No, we'll figure out when we get there. I ain't gonna say nothing as of right now for Pittsburgh. But right now, the Philly has to win this game. It's safe to say this is a must-win game. Week 3 must-win game.
If Philly loses this game, there might be some changes.
Yeah.
There might be some changes.
But since we're coming to the end, I figured here's the floor for you to gloat.
About what?
Because there was a moment.
Oh, you talking about the 20-point comeback?
Yeah.
No.
Boys.
I wanted a lot of people don't realize I've actually been very quiet about the Cowboys just for the simple fact that I have no faith in them this year whatsoever.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No. Normally I would come on here and spew my normal Super Bowl and we them boys and all this other stuff, but I just haven't seen anything from them this year that gives me confidence or hope. I believe that we'll win the NFC East. I just haven't seen anything that shows me we'll at least even make it as far as the NFC Conference Championship. I'm sorry, I just haven't. You let the Atlanta Falcons get up the way that they did, and it wasn't a situation where Dallas came back. I think Atlanta gave that game away. Then you look at the first game. Who they played in the first game? I think it was the Rams or whatever.
Yeah, the Rams. Yeah,
the all OPI that wasn't actually OPI or whatever it may be. I'm not really sold on my team yet. You understand? I mean, we look good enough to win the division. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see anything to where we can actually compete with a Seattle. Hell no. With a Green Bay, no, I'm sorry. The list just goes on and on. So for me, I am a realistic fan. You understand? I love my team. I'm not gonna gloat and bloviate over shit that's not gonna happen. And in the case for me, I'm just not seeing it for my team yet. So I don't have much to say about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a first.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that.
I lied. You understand? Let me talk to y'all real quick about something. My Cowboys this year, we gonna do it big, baby. I know
that's been a little bit sad. You understand? First of all, we won a one, but we about to pick it up. I'm looking at 15-1 right now. You understand what I'm saying? It's about to be real. It's about to get real.
And
You
on
understand?
that note,
no, we're not
let's
done
come
yet.
to-
Let me talk to y'all real quick about this team. Dak Prescott has been disrespected for long enough by this organization and in this league. And let me tell you something. He's coming for next this year. He's coming for next. If Russell Wilson wins MVP, Dak's going to be right behind him. Remember I said it. Hello. Good morning. We got Coop, CeeDee Lamb. You understand? Gallup. You understand? We back. We better than ever. Zeke's performing. Our O-line is trash right now because we lost everybody, but we ain't talking about it right now. Defense, we have to figure out our identity, but nonetheless, we will win the NFC East. And watch out. Whoever's facing us in the playoffs, watch out because we're coming. And we're back. We're going to be back and better. You can close this out.
You sure about that?
You can close this out.
Or as John Cena would say, are you sure about that? Let's cut camera, because it's some old bullshit that he talking about over here. All right, some old bullshit that you talking about over here. But regardless, this has been episode 20. Allow me to gloat about the damn Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? You thought I was going to close it out. I ain't going to close it out. All right, Pittsburgh 2-0.
Yeah.
All right, we started out pretty good. All right, Big Ben, he may not be, all strong-armed and stuff and things of that nature.
Just don't get hurt.
Raven. But as long as this brother stays healthy, I'm confident. I'm loving the Pittsburgh defense.
I love it too.
TJ Watt, 2.5 sacks against, the Broncos.
He could be
and
the
Drew
defensive
Lock,
player of the year
Drew
candidate.
Lock was one of the toughest quarterback to sack. Unfortunately, he ended up leaving the game early. He didn't
Right.
get to finish.
Right.
But still, that Broncos offensive line has been performing since Drew Lock stepped in. Now, I'm not too sure if there was protection calls that was not happening with Jeff Driscoll, whatever the case was. Pittsburgh was able to get 19 quarterback hits. They ended the game with 8 sacks. Blitzburg is here. We don't got to worry about Pittsburgh's defense, but offensively, Game 1, Benny Snell over 100 against the Giants. Game 2, James Conner over 100 against the Broncos. I'm not too sure if this is going to be consistent. I don't foresee it to consider this way, continue this way. But the ebb and flow is there. The consistency is there. Big Ben has since been protected. Pittsburgh is back, baby. Pittsburgh is back, and we will compete in the AFC North. Everybody talking about the doggone Ravens. You better pump the brakes now. They're still gonna be there. Now, I ain't gonna give anything to Pittsburgh or out of the gate. They still gonna have to, it's gonna be a battle to see who the hell's gonna be able to take that number 1 spot in the AFC North. We'll find out when we see each other later on down the road. But Pittsburgh is here and they here to stay, and the stairway to 7 is going to be complete this year because Big Ben is gonna walk away with his 3rd Lombardi, and Pittsburgh will be unprecedentedly the first team to win the 7th Lombardi. We were the first to 3. We were the first to 4. We were the first to 6. We fixed it to be the first to 7. I can guarantee you that. Put your money on it.
That sound like that hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to episode number 28 of the Hold My Nuggets podcast. As always, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend that we will be back again. I know you like that. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am your host with the most, Marvin Francois, and this is
The diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled, the dime.
And this is the Hold My Nuggets podcast, here where we talk
50% sports, 50% real shit, 100% of the time.
And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Thank you. Have a blessed night and good night.
Night.